tired we have to promote Civilian because I think it's like 6,000 people. Oh, it's like this. Wow, throwing a paint white
They started off.
Sometimes live in a very troubled world, and when we see men and women like that, we're reminded of how fortunate we are, and we are so grateful for the service that you and your colleagues give to this country in providing us opportunities to have enjoyment and freedom in this country. So thank you so much for all you do. About 7 weeks ago, I and almost every person here that's now part of the ownership structure of this team received a phone call from Paul Pignelli. Right in the wake of the announcement that the Falcons were leaving, and his opening remarks were something similar to, yeah, this isn't going to happen. this isn't going to go. And I said, well, I get it, Paul, but what would you suggest that we all do? And within, I'd say several days of that, he had identified an opportunity to save AHL hockey here in the city of Springfield. And in hours after that, everyone here sitting on this floor received phone calls from Paul, and the group started to grow organically. I will say this, we're delighted to be joined by some of the greatest leaders in the industry, some of the best community leaders in the industry, and I'm delighted to also welcome today honored guests in addition to those on the front stage that you'll be introduced to. I'd like to take a moment to recognize Mayor Richard Koss from Chicopee. Thank you, Councilman. City Council President Mike Petty is here. City Councilor Milton Edwards. There's a new day in the city of Springfield. Those of us that are from this region know that there's been a fairly healthy dose of pessimism in this area over the last 10 and 20 years. And I dare say to you that for all the naysayers, stay tuned, we're going to prove you wrong. Today, my friend and colleague Paul Pignelli will introduce part and parcel of the names. This organization and the story is growing. Our friends in the media, you know, they also take a lot of shots about their coverage. I can tell you that the media coverage that we've gotten since the resurrection of hockey in Springfield has been amongst the best I've seen in this region, and I want to thank them for the coverage support. I would also add to keep it up if we could. So, with that, you're going to hear about the ownership. Since people started reading about this effort, since people started hearing about that, listening to radio interviews and television interviews, the phone started ringing, somewhat organically. I am thrilled to announce today that we have 25 of the most prominent business owners, all from Western Massachusetts. Realizing the ownership and the community leadership that we have that has ever been assembled in the history of Western Massachusetts. So the naysayers, I say, stay tuned. In deciding the order of speaking today, we felt that the landlord that charges our rent probably should go number one so that we can pay due homage and hope that he keeps our costs down. I'm delighted today that we're joined by the Deputy Director of the Massachusetts Convention Center Authority. He was named the Deputy Director in 2016, has a 16-year history with the MCCA. He previously held a number of other community roles, community liaison. He is a leader in the facility operations and management industry, and he serves as a member of the board of the International Association of Venue Management. Please welcome our good friend and a strong supporter, Fred Peterson. Sometimes we're in a troubled world, and when we see men and women like that, we're reminded of how fortunate we are, and we are so grateful for the service that you and your colleagues give to this country in providing us opportunities to have enjoyment and freedom in this country. So thank you so much for all you do. About 7 weeks ago, I and almost every person here that's now a part of the ownership structure of this team received a phone call from Paul Pignelli. Right in the wake of the announcement that the Falcons were leaving, and his opening remarks were something similar to, yeah, this isn't going to happen. this isn't going to go. And I said, well, I get it, Paul, but what would you suggest that we all do? And within, I'd say several days of that, he had identified an opportunity to save AHL hockey here in the city of Springfield. And in hours after that, everyone here sitting on this floor received phone calls from Paul, and the group started to grow organically. I will say this, we're delighted to be joined by some of the greatest leaders in the industry, some of the best community leaders in the industry, and I'm delighted to also welcome today honored guests in addition to those on the front stage that you'll be introduced to. I'd like to take a moment to recognize Mayor Richard Koss from Chicopee. Thank you, President. City Council President Mike Kenton is here. City Councilor Milton Edwards. There's a new day in the city of Springfield. Those of us that are from this region know that there's been a fairly healthy dose of pessimism in this area over the last 10 and 20 years. And I dare say to you that for all the naysayers, stay tuned, we're going to prove you wrong. Today, my friend and colleague Paul Pignelli will introduce part and parcel of the names. This organization and the story is growing. Our friends in the media, they also take a lot of shots about their coverage. I can tell you that the media coverage that we've gotten since the resurrection of hockey in Springfield has been amongst the best I've seen in this region, and I want to thank them for the coverage support. I would also add to keep it up if we could. So, with that, you're going to hear about the ownership. Since people started reading about this effort, since people started hearing about that, listening to radio interviews and television interviews, the phone started ringing, somewhat organically. I am thrilled to announce today that we have 25 of the most prominent business owners, all from Western Massachusetts.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Excited to hear Venture Associates. We're a public relations firm here in Boston, and it's with a great amount of pleasure and pride that I introduce our managing partner and the MC for today's event, Dennis Murphy.
Normally we would begin by saying good morning.
Morning.
We say that all the time, and I don't like this, but it doesn't quite cover it. I'm going to suggest, ladies and gentlemen, that this is a great morning. In the city of Springfield. I'm delighted to be here on really one of the happiest days in the city's history for some time. And I'm proud to say there's a lot of happy days lately in the city of Springfield, and that theme is going to be heard more and more and more. There's the obvious of the inclusion of MGM Casino, which is a game changer, and it's sparking a lot of other opportunities, and I think this is one of them. So there's many exciting things happening in our city, and we are thrilled to be here today. You're going to hear a great deal about the extraordinary work and effort that's gone on for the last 7 weeks since the news struck about the Falcons being relocated. But hope springs eternal here in the great city of Springfield. In light of the events of this week, I am going to rightfully change the order of my program this morning because I'm delighted to have amongst our audience today Lieutenant Colonel Charlie Wilson for the 104 Fighting Wing.
A lot of times they have the bulk million, because I tell you like 6,000 people. Oh, it's like well, Florida Panthers white jersey. That's right. They started off.
Good morning, everybody. It is truly a wonderful day here for the city of Springfield. Welcome to the beautiful Mass Mutual Center, where we just actually celebrated 10 years of its rebirth and reopening. So, big thank you to the Mass Mutual Center staff, the dedication throughout the years, and loyalty to not only this facility, but also the city of Springfield has been wonderful. And me stepping into this role since January and being here almost on a weekly basis, it's become a second home to me. So to staff, I say thank you very much, and to the city of Springfield and the mayor, thank you for your welcome. I also want to thank Mass Mutual itself for their ongoing support of the Mass Mutual Center. And just to speak very briefly about the center itself, as you all see here, it's an 8,000 seat arena. We have 40,000 square feet of exhibition hall space, 15,000 square feet of ballroom space, and 90 meeting rooms. So a little bit of a sales piece, if you don't mind. One important partner in the work we do overseeing the Mass Mutual Center is the city of Springfield in Mayor Dominic Sano. When you bring conventioners, spectators, and audiences to a venue, you want them to have a great experience, and a major part of that is the destination. We consider Mayor Sano, his team, a variety of elected officials here and key stakeholders to be a very important part of it. So I thank you all for your unwavering support and the commitment, ongoing commitment to the entire city of Springfield. Under Mayor Sano's leadership, and with support of other key elected officials and stakeholders, such as the Greater Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Western Mass Sports Commission, the Chamber of Commerce, the BID, along with the much anticipated arrival of the MGM's resort complex. We continue to see new life and vitality that has made it a great place to visit, whether it be for entertainment, a cultural experience, or just to do business. All of which was contributed to the Mass Mutual's ongoing success. As we all know, AHL hockey in Springfield and at the Mass Mutual Center has been a constant, and an anchor to our community. We actually play host to 38 AHL games on an annual basis. As disappointed as we were to hear when the Springfield Falcons abruptly left overnight, in a matter of weeks, as we just mentioned before, through local business owners and key stakeholders, we were excited to hear that a local group of investors had saved AHL hockey in Springfield and committed to its long-term future in the city. To the new owners and investors, thank you, thank you, thank you. Recently seen on the inside where we just completed this amazing video book, which is fairly large, and I think it's been hit by a couple of hockey pucks already. And also the lighting program that's associated with it. Just as AHL continues to bring first-rate hockey to the city of Springfield, we too want to put our best team on the ice when we do execute events here at the Mass Mutual Center. Lastly, we're looking forward to our shared continued success and what opportunities lie ahead for the city of Springfield, Pioneer Valley, and the Mass Mutual Center. So, thank you very much.
We have 2 electrical outlets that are out on the top floor and 1 running toilet, if you could take a look at that. The mayor had also talked about a 10% rent discount. I don't know, we'll take that up, I guess. Needless to say, the implementation and the coming of MGM Springfield is a game changer, not just for the city of Springfield, but it's for the entirety of Western Mass, and I would argue Central Mass as well. When we first started this discussion. They were one of our first calls, and we were delighted that our friends at MGM Springfield once again rolled up their sleeves, understood the importance of keeping this hockey team here, understood the importance of keeping this place lit for 40 more nights rather than being in darkness. So it is with that we are very thrilled to say that we will have a marketing relationship with MGM Springfield, and I would like to take a moment. I'd like to take a moment to introduce the leadership of MGM Springfield, who's with us every step of the way. The President, Mike Mathis. And the Vice President and General Counsel, Seth Stratton. Our next speaker is someone who I think deserves a tremendous amount of credit for all of the things that are happening, yes, in the city of Springfield, but you could make the argument across Western Massachusetts. He had the vision and the courage to stand up and declare Springfield open for business. And what a difference he has made. Unprecedented development in the city. Yes, started obviously by, in a big way by MGM, but we have the Chinese Railway Company coming to Springfield. We have finally off the board after 20 some odd years, Union Station. How many blueprints did we see? How many walkthroughs did we see? It's actually being done under this man's tutelage and the guidance and his very talented economic development team and the men and women in his office. He really needs no other further introduction because he's known to all of us and he's a great leader. Please welcome him.
What's the chant we dedicated fans say we're at the games? Drop the puck.
Drop the puck. Drop the puck.
Where's Chris Thompson? Chris, I want my season tickets again. I'm in section.
Wow.
You know, everybody always would say, what do you expect in Springfield? People now are saying, why not Springfield? And we're proving that day in and day out. I appreciate my friends and colleagues, elected officials over here, City Council President Mark Fenton, City Council Kaylee Walsh, City Council Mel Edwards, and I love the regional effect of my dear, dear friend, Chicopee Mayor Richie Cross, who I've seen a little while too. This is a regional aspect. To the honored guests that are on the dais, to all the local corporate citizens and business people that are here, this should not surprise you at all, because they have stepped up for the city and myself numerous times, sometimes publicly, sometimes behind the scenes. And I'll never forget when Paul got a hold of me. I don't know if it was by the car when we were leaving one night when he called me, that he wasn't going to allow this to happen. And that we're going to put together a financial team and business people that we're going to continue their belief and investment here in the city of Springfield. So, Paul, really to you and to all the business people that have stepped up again, let's give them a big round of applause. Also, the President, Dave Andrews and Fred Peterson. I know we had numerous discussions of what we were going to do to fill the gap, or maybe there might have been a year hiatus, but we were great in your wisdom and advice and strategy on this. I deeply appreciate that. I'm very thankful, Mr. President, that we're able to grab the whiz kid over here, Nathan Costa, as our GM. I know he's done a tremendous job for the AHL, and he happens to be a Cathedral High School graduate. Now, I spoke about the great corporate citizens that stepped up, and that it should not be surprising because they've done it before and they will continue to do it. They put their money where their mouth is. So again, I'm going to say to all the businesses out there, large or small, mid-sized or corporate citizens, that we need you to be part of this deal. And first of all, you're going to have professional hockey. We're a charter member of the AHL dating back to 1936. And this is one step away from the NHL. The guys go up and down. I know firsthand. My cousin, younger cousin Frankie Vetrano, skates with the So you get great professional hockey. It's great family fun. It's very, very affordable. When Paul had called me, obviously the city, we're going to continue to do our part. It's always safe down here, parking, no issues whatsoever. So we expect your partnership, and whether you can make every game or not, it's great to give those tickets away to good customers or young families to come here and experience professional hockey, see the future stars of the AHL, and just have great, clean family fun. So I'm going to ask you all to step it up. To the loyal season ticket holders, thank you for having me here. So I use the old movie line. Just when you thought you were out, we're going to drag you right back in. Now, also important is the team that has been put together, and you're going to hear more and more about that, the team name and the administration. And I also want to give a big shout out. I call him Mr. Hockey. I would say Eddie Shore, but in the modern era of AHL hockey, professional hockey in the city of Springfield, no one, and I mean no one, has done more for professional hockey here in the city of Springfield, AHL, than Bruce Lambert. I'm not done yet, Bruce. Hold on. You cannot say enough thank yous to the people that put their money where their mouth is. So, again, Paul Pignelli, Mass Mutual, is here. Mass Mutual's been here 165 years. They've been a great corporate citizen, whether it's financial, insurance, education, economic development. Paul, who was really the Tom Brady of this team, quarterbacking this team. I think it was a late Friday evening. I'm leaving the office, you're leaving there in the studio, and he runs up to me, he's got a brown paper bag, okay? And as we're saying, if anybody's taking photo shots here, it was super sad, Italian sauce. Am I correct? And we started some conversation moving on. MGM to Mike Mathis, again, having MGM here, which is a world-renowned company, as Kevin Kennedy and I had stated, spin-off, a tremendous amount of spin-off occurring, and we're hopeful to put a hook on another company coming very shortly as we make a pitch. But MGM is, the excitement is growing here, and with all the spin-offs that are occurring, you mentioned the Chinese railway company and units, and other things, and the small and mid-sized businesses. Last but not least, I mentioned about the goalie, Bruce Lambert, and it has come to my attention, and I thought it was a great idea. So in the very near future, Falcons Way will be no more. It will become Bruce Lambert. So with that, Bruce never looks for any type of accolades. The great corporate citizens that are here never look for any type of accolades or pat on the back. They do it out of their head, their heart, their gut, because you believe in our Springfield. So as I opened up, when people said, geez, what do you expect in Springfield? From now on, we're saying, why not Springfield? Thank you all so much.
Those of you that were not aware that the American Hockey League is based in Springfield, the reason you are not aware goes back 22 years to having suspended Manny Legacy. The feedback in our old offices in Union Street in West Springfield was fairly vociferous, and we very quickly moved quietly downtown to Monarch Place and basically let you all forget that we're here. The good news is that the curse of Manny Legacy, which Bruce has always called it, which was the reason Springfield has not won a Calder Cup in the last 22 years. He believed it was because of my suspension of Manny and that there was a curse on the team. And the good news is that Manny Legacy won the Calder Cup last Saturday night. So the curse is over. I would like to really thank the mayor for his gesture in renaming Falcons Way to Bruce Landon Way. Woo! If anyone deserves that more than Bruce, I can't think of it. Bruce was inducted into our Hall of Fame this year. He has been a friend of mine for 29 years. I've worked with him in the American Hockey League. Before that, I knew of him as a terrific player. And we would not be here today. In fact, there would have been no AHL hockey here 22 years ago, 23 years ago, if it weren't for Bruce. So here we are, and Bruce is still here supporting.
Okay! Yes!
The American Hockey League has just concluded its 80th anniversary season. We expanded this year to California, put 5 teams there. As you know, the team from here moved to Tucson, Arizona. We moved the team back to Winnipeg. We are now coast to coast in North America with 30 franchises, soon to be 31 franchises if the NHL expands, as we're expected to do next week. We have the best year in our history. We drew 7.1 million fans. It was an increase of 15% in ticket sales over last year. We had the best playoffs in our history. Saturday night in Cleveland, Ohio, we had 19,655 people at the final game of the Calder Cup, the second largest crowd ever.
Yay!
The reason I mention all of this is that I can't imagine a better year than what we had this year, and all of a sudden we had a black mark. One of our In closing, I do want to wish the staff here well. They've got terrific new leadership in Nate Costa. Nate worked for us over at Meyer Place for the last 6.5 years, and when I mentioned that we set a new attendance record, we have set new attendance records every year for the past 7 years, and every one of those years our league ticket sales leadership has belonged to Nate. So we're very thankful for what he did for our league, and we wish him nothing but the best going forward. And from our perspective, this franchise is in great hands with this group of owners and a leader like Nate. And to CT and the rest of the staff who are here that are staying here from carrying over from the previous group, and to Bruce, who's going to be doing a lot of the hockey work with the Florida Panthers, we wish you all well. Anything the American Hockey League can do to help, we'll do. Thanks very much.
Several weeks ago, in this crazy timeline, we also had to figure out who our affiliation was going to be with.
Okay.
Yep.
And our next speaker was one of the 2 gentlemen that came up from Florida and spent the day with us. And at times we started to wonder if we're just falling in love with our own story and we're drunk on the Kool-Aid, if you will. So it was nice to see someone from out of town come in, and we sat down and spent the better part of 10 hours or 12 hours that day. And we laid out for them who we are, what the vision is that we see for this team. We took them on a tour of the city of Springfield to see visually what's happening here. And I think it's fair to say that they left with a very different impression of the city of Springfield than perhaps what they had come with. This gentleman that's about to speak is the Assistant General Manager of the Florida Panthers. He is the General Manager, our General Manager here of the Springfield AHL affiliate. He was named the Assistant Manager in May of 16. Also serves as the GM of the Panthers AHL affiliate, overseeing player development. He has a background in national security, speaking of our military, and is a proud graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point. Served as an Army captain during Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2004 and 2005, and was awarded the Combat Infantry badge, the Combat Infantry badge. He started star in the Valorous Unit Citation. He's a person who's given an awful lot to his country, and he's given an awful lot to pro sports, and we are delighted to have him as our general manager. Please give a very warm Springfield welcome to Eric Joyce.
Everyone here, elected officials, the investment group that uniform, and most importantly, the dedicated fans of this franchise. So thank you guys very much. A quick story. We were sitting around the table in Paul's office, and a lot of the players, the perception of Springfield is it's a pretty rough neighborhood. So a lot of our players, when they found out that this could be a possibility, got a little bit worried, prepare themselves mentally and physically to play, and they will have the best attitude because we will surround them with the best resources in order to help them prepare. So
Great day.
I promise you that.
And I'm a little embarrassed by all the comments that were made today, but I think the one that embarrassed me the most was the reference to Tom Brady. My wife and I are Patriots fans, and Dave's right, we're not hockey fans. And my wife has called me lots of things before, and Tom Brady certainly wasn't one of them. And as owner, I think I have to correct you, Mayor. You can't start this rumor about Tom Brady. It's got to possibly be Bob Kraft or something like that, but Tom Brady just can't be it. About 6 weeks ago, we all learned that the Springfield Falcons were leaving Springfield. And I got to tell you, it was a depressing day for me. I went home, talked to my wife, and I said, we got to do something about this. And her reaction was, what do you want to get involved in another business for? Aren't you busy enough? And I told her, Dennis, that I'm going to do it because it's the right thing to do.
All right.
Standing here in front of all of you saying that hockey is back in Springfield and it's here to stay. But I will tell you, getting here was no easy task. We started this process only weeks ago, and to be honest with you, I didn't think we were going to be successful. But with the help of many people, including my friend Frank Fitzgerald, we found this very small window of opportunity, and we came in completely under the radar, and literally over a matter of days, we bought the Portland Pirates. We had the task of bringing the team to Springfield, and I couldn't have done this alone. And there are many people to thank, but we only have the time to recognize a few of them. And I will tell you, the one that really stands out today and has been recognized already was a friend of mine for many years, and that person is Bruce Landon. Bruce Landon retired, and about 2 weeks later, I picked up the phone and called Bruce and said, Bruce, I think you have to tell your wife you're not going to be retired anymore. And I can't be prouder to say that Bruce Landon has joined our team as a full-time consultant. We bought the team, and we didn't have any place for them to play. And Frank and I said, well, what do you do about it? So I picked up the phone, called Freddie Peterson. Over the weekend, he took weekend conference calls for a state employee. It's not an easy thing to do. And over a matter of a few phone calls, Freddie came back and says, listen, you will have a home here in the Mass Mutual Center if you're able to accomplish this. So thank you. We don't have to do either. So, we didn't even know what a player affiliation agreement was. We don't know anything about hockey, okay? So, we picked up the phone, and literally, in a matter of a day and a half, talked to Peter Luco, the executive vice chairman of the Florida Panthers. He and Eric Joyce came to Springfield, flew up from Florida, came to Springfield, and met with us. And we showed them all the exciting things in Springfield, and we didn't show them all the bad things that are going on in Springfield that happen in Dorchester and Lynn and other places in the eastern part of our state. But it didn't take them long to realize that Springfield was a town that they wanted to be affiliated with. Frank and I look at it and says, we don't know what the hell we're doing, quite honestly, and all we want to do is to have the current player affiliation agreement signed to us. And they said, no, that's not how it works. And I said, well, that's how it's going to work here in Springfield. So I'm happy to report that we have a signed agreement for the next 4 years for an affiliation agreement. And one person I'd like to thank is Dave Andrews. And he did say his offices are literally right below me. And I no longer was picking up the phone and calling him. I was just stamping my foot like this 3 times. And that was a clue, Dave, you got to come back up to my office again. But literally every time we had a question, or every time we had a problem, or every time we looked like this thing wasn't going to happen, Dave was there with his guiding hand, and he really was the person that was our backbone to answering all the hockey questions we had no clue on. And thank you very much. Thank you very much. Frank comes and says, you got to get some investors, Paul. So we started getting a list together, and through a culmination of efforts of our Rolodexes, Frank's Rolodexes, Dennis Rolodexes, etc., we got a number of people involved locally. They all felt the same way I did about losing professional hockey in Springfield. And I'm proud to announce today that our local ownership group consists of over 25 people. The lights are bright. Frank Colaccino, the Chief Executive Officer of the Colvest Group. Tony Caputo, the owner of Bread Rose Pizzeria. Tony's building an addition to Bread Rose Pizzeria, and he did that because we need to get the extra seats for the hockey games. Steven Sincata from Clinic Research Management. Attorney Frank Fitzgerald. David Fontaine from Fontaine Brothers. Jimmy Garvey from Eddie's Package Store. Glenn Garvey from the Garvey Group. Jeff Grodsky and Scott Grodsky from the Grodsky Mechanical Group. Ted Hebert from Teddy Bear Pool. And spas. Peter Martins from Dunkin' Donuts. Andrew Merkin from Associated Building Records. Lynn Nita from the Quality Inn Hotel in Chicopee. My good friend Dennis Murphy from Ventry Associates. Dinesh Patel from the New Hampton Inn Hotel on Columbus Avenue in Springfield. Derek Salima from the Dunkin' Donuts Group. Mike Wallace from C&W Realty. And last, Ashley Basalo, my daughter. Recognition to Mass Mutual, who stepped up huge to make a major donation of $500,000 to the Springfield Business Improvement District to make sure that we got this deal done. The most important part of our community, and their generosity is sometimes taken for granted, but they deserve special recognition for the role that they played in keeping hockey here in Springfield. Representing Mass Mutual Group today here is Nick Fincherlakis. And thank you very much, Nick, for all your help and support. And I do forget, I'm sorry, Mr. Gaglitucci, I apologize, I'm overlooking my line, but thank you very much for being part of the ownership group. This turn is now. I truly believe that Springfield is going to be the renaissance of Western Massachusetts and all of the state of Massachusetts. With over $2.5 billion in development projects currently in the pipeline, including MGM Springfield directly across the street from this facility, which will bring an average of 25,000 people a day to downtown Springfield. I can't tell you how delighted MGM was when they heard the news that professional hockey will be retained in Springfield. Mike Mathis, along with Bill Hornbuckle, the president of MGM, and Jim Murrin were there the entire way of putting this together with their help and support, and I couldn't be happier to be working with MGM on this facility. But he looks more like Tom Brady than I will ever look like Tom Brady. But this person has spent the 6.5 years promoting hockey throughout the entire country. The person who knows what works and what doesn't work. He knows how to sell hockey in 100-degree weather, and he knows how to sell hockey here in Springfield. He will take the best of the best and bring that to our city, and most importantly, Nate and his team will revolutionize the game night experience so that the entertainment off the ice is just as compelling as the game on the ice. Please welcome the new Executive Vice President of our team, Nate Costa.
It's a great privilege, and as sitting here listening to the program today, we've got a great view of the history of hockey here in Springfield with the banners that are up there in the rafters. And it truly is a humbling experience for me to be able to take over a franchise and lead this into the future. And I know you guys are all looking forward to the unveiling of the new name. We've taken great pride in trying to make this right, and to continue this here in the future in Springfield. It's an exciting time, and I'm very grateful for that. A couple thank yous as well. Bruce Landon, for all he's done here in Springfield. I have great respect for you, and it's great to have you on board. I'm going to look to you for some guidance, but it's very much appreciated that you've joined us, and thank you for all you've done for Springfield. Years. I think I say it to everybody when I meet them that I haven't met anyone more brilliant at what he does. I've learned a lot over the last 7 years working under Dave's guidance, and I hope to make him proud and bring a prominence back to Springfield hockey. To introduce to you the new AHL hockey team right here in Springfield, the Springfield Thunderbirds. This time I'd like the rest of our ownership group to come on up stage and take a photo, but while they're coming up on stage, I'd like all of you to take a chance. We've got our website live. It will be springfieldthunderbirds.com. Fans can log on right now and start making deposits for season tickets for next year. We also have a couple of our sales reps on board, so as you're leaving the building, we'll have iPads ready to take deposits. We can't do this without you, and we're asking for you all to join Mayor Sarno, who has already given me his deposit earlier today, to be a part of what we're going to be doing here over the next little while. But thank you all for coming out. We can't wait to see you back on October 22nd. Thank you again.
So hey, before anyone else grabs this microphone, if Paul is Brady, can I be drunk? Anyone else getting up here and taking the drunk position from me before I get a chance to take it? I too want to publicly thank and acknowledge Mass Mutual and Nick Fintrolakis and all of the folks up on State Street. Mass Mutual has done more for this community than I think the world would ever know. And for those of us that do business across the state of Massachusetts, all of us have come to learn that despite being one of the most prominent companies in the country, a Fortune 100 company, that essentially all of their philanthropic giving is done entirely in the city of Springfield. Sometimes it's been frustrating for us as those try to yank some money out. But they said, it stays here, we invest here, and quite frankly, it happens so often that we sometimes take it for granted, and that's a huge mistake. So a huge thank you to Mass Mutual for stepping up. Our next speaker is someone who really, we couldn't say enough about the hand-holding that he did in this insane timeline. By the time Paul cooked this wonderful idea up, we were essentially missing deadlines already. Different dates that had to happen. With this man's guidance, holding our hand and pointing us on the right road, we are standing here today. He is the President and Chief Executive Officer of the American Hockey League. Many people don't realize the AHL is headquartered here in the city of Springfield. We're going to start talking a lot more about that. We thank you for that as well. This is David's 22nd season as the President and CEO of the American Hockey League. He has guided the AHL through unequal times of prosperity, seeing record levels of attendance. And we're going to contribute to that here in the city of Springfield as well. Under his leadership, there are now 30 NHL organizations. In 2001, he led one of the largest expansion efforts ever in pro sports, a complex enterprise that bringing 6 new cities into the AHL as the rival International Hockey League folded. League attendance has climbed dramatically from 2.9 million to 7.1 million. Woo! I believe with no disclosure, Andrews assumes the duties of the AHL president in July of '94. He came to the league office with first-hand knowledge of the AHL, having served as the Edmonton Oilers Director of AHL Operations for 7 years. We owe this man a huge thanks, and I am very, very proud and delighted to introduce Dave Andrews.
All right, this is it. Hockey's home. I honestly really don't know what else to say, but now that we know what the team name and logo is going to look like, it's a combination of the old Falcons logo with the Springfield Indians, which are part of history down here in Springfield. You'll see the video of all 30 AHL teams with Nathan Costa part of, and hopefully this will be a great season. So I'll be coming to you guys in the first home game, October 22nd, so stay tuned, and don't forget, let's go Thunderbirds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a lot of times we have the folks, you know, because I say like 6,000 people. Oh, it's like the daily stuff. Talking a couple of guys. I'm not watching it. Because the rules are wow, Florida white Bigfoot last I have to head up the old dirt down.
They started off with Arizona.